Hello and welcome to the channel. I am that Evernote guy, providing you actionable content that you yourself can use to make your Evernote better and better. This week we're looking at TaskStageBot and I'm really excited about this one. TaskStageBot helps us identify where a task is within the stage lifecycle by putting a little emoji at the start of it to act as a quick visual reference and visual cue. Might not sound a lot, but it is really game changing when you're managing lots of tasks, and it makes Evernote sing at task management. So without further ado, let's chuck me down there and we will get started. Okay, so here we are in my Evernote, picking up from where we left off from last time. We had created two tasks and extracted them using TaskBot, but we need to tidy them up, and that's the first job for TaskStageBot to do. Tidy them up, get rid of the pipes, and then put a little helpful emoji at the start to tell us where the task is in the stages. To do this, we're going to use an app called Filterize. And honestly, I've been so keen to get onto this piece because Filterize builds the vast majority of the bots that we're going to use. And it really is a fantastic tool or service. You can do so many things with it. It's so amazing. Once you start to get your head around it and understand how to actually build the bots, you can really make something special of your Evernote. I'm going to step you through how I've set it up for task management. Once you get comfortable with it, I don't doubt that you yourself, to use my catchphrase, will be building your own bots and coming up with your own ideas, and I'll be getting lots of comments and feedback on it. So let's get straight into Filterize and I'll run you through the setup. By the end of this, follow along with these instructions. You will build your second bot in Evernote. Okay, let's search for Filterize. There we go. Okay, so I'm going straight into the sign up process. I'm going to sign up with Google. I'm going to use my That Evernote Guy account, and we are going to be taken straight into Filterize, into the main dashboard. Okay, create your account. You've read and agreed to the terms of service. Yep. Send me news and announcements. Why not? I do like Filterize. Right, I'm going to connect my Evernote. It's going to ask me to authorize. So I'm going to authorize with Google. Here we go. And I'm going to authorize for 1 year. That took me straight in because I was already signed into my Evernote. If you're not signed into your Evernote on the web, you would need to sign into your Evernote on the web before you authorize. Okay, and we are authorized and we're ready to go. So we're now going to build our first automation. When you first get to this screen, it can be a little bit overwhelming, a little bit confusing. We're going to go straight on and build our first bot with Filterize. Okay, here we go. We're going to start with the filter manager, top left there. This is the main screen you'll probably be using. Now we're going to create a new stack. Let's get this clear from the off. When you see the word stack, don't think stack. Stack in the whole Evernote world is associated with Evernote stacks of notebooks. Filterize have used the same terminology to perhaps mean a stack of automations that you group together, but it can be confusing because you'll think that this is specifically for a stack that you have in Evernote. It's not. So when we see stacks, think bot. So I'm going to create a new bot. Here we go. And I'm going to call it TaskStageBot, and everything that we do is going to live in this, I almost said stack, everything we do is going to live in this little cluster of TaskStageBot. Think of it as TaskStageBot's instructions. Okay, so we're going to create a simple filter, and what do we want to do? We want to make a change to the note title. So that this is the action that the bot is going to do, and we are going to replace title parts because we're going to clean Evernote up. And we're going to search for in title pipe, en pipe, and we're going to replace it with nothing. So we're just going to leave that blank, and all this is going to do is come in cpipe en pipe and replace it with a blank. So in fact, I got to stop myself and reverse myself there. What we're actually going to replace that with is a white dot, which in our task management system represents an untouched task, something that we need to pay attention to, hence having the white dot. So I'm going to go into Emojipedia, and I'll look for, I think they call it white circle in here, white circle. There we go. Select that there. and copy. And top tip, if you're using Emojipedia here, it lists all the different styles of white circle, white dot in all the different apps. you may be using, but the one that you need is up here at the top, and you just click copy on that because that's the one that on the system that you're using. I'm on Windows at the moment, so just copy that there and go back here and paste even. And I'm going to put a space after that so Windows doesn't jam it onto our text. So that's it. Replace title parts pipe, en pipe, with white circle or white dot, whatever you want to call it. Continue. So that's the do logic. That's what we want it to do. Now we need to add an if logic. We don't actually need an if logic here. So we can actually create this filter without condition, because wherever we see pipe en pipe, we want it to be replaced by white dot. We're going to create filter without condition. So there we go. And now we need to give it a name, and we're going to call it Task Cleanup. Okay, and save. And that's it. It's active. It's going to look for notes now. Let's do a little test. It's going to look for notes with those filters. What it will probably do is look for recently changed notes. And as I haven't touched this Evernote since my last demo, I don't know if it's going to find anything. So I'm just going to close that. So what we're going to do is go back into the Evernote right now, and you will see that TaskStageBot has done nothing. And let me explain why that is. This is the way that Filterize works. Filterize looks for active notes, and when I say active notes, notes that have just been changed, and then it applies all its filters, or in our case we call them bots or actions or tasks, across those notes. If it didn't do that, then it would be constantly searching your entire Evernote database all the time and would be unmanageable as a service. So what we're going to do is make some little changes to these notes, and that will trigger an Evernote update, and that will trigger TaskStageBot to go, aha, let me just check that note that's been updated. Do I need to do anything? And it's going to see that it does need to do something, and it's going to do it. So I'm just going to make some little changes to these, put a couple of spaces in there, a couple of enters. In a real world scenario, we would have just created this meeting note, and these actions would have been just stripped out by TaskBot, and TaskBot would have put them in here as brand new notes, and that would have triggered Filterize straight away. So all this happens automatically on its own. But we're going to wait for Filterize to work. I think it usually takes 2 syncs of the Evernote sync cycle, which I don't know what their sync cycle is. Sometimes it can happen really quick, and sometimes it happens after a while. I mean, I never sit there and wait for it in real world use cases. I just do it because I know it's going to happen and go away and do other stuff, and then I come back and it is done. But we'll see that change shortly. Right, we can see that Filterize has started to do something. Well, more importantly, TaskStageBot, it has picked up our first task, and it has removed the pipe, en pipe, and replaced it with a white circle. We now have a title that looks more usable, and it's good that there's a direct comparison there to the first one. As you can see, it looks a lot better. We still have a pipe at the end, so we need to go and remove that as well, because I don't want a pipe at the end. So I'm going to set up another action for TaskStageBot to clean up that pipe. We're going to do that right now, and then we'll process the other note in a second. Okay, let's go straight back into Filterize, and we're in the activity log here. This is a really good place for you to go to see what's happened. And you can see it has changed the second note. It's done both of them, but it takes 2 cycles for this to happen. So it has done it at the server end, the Evernote server end, but you have to wait for the server to then update your client end, if that makes sense. I'm not very technical, so that was pretty high level for me. And if we go back to our Evernote, we can see it's been done now. It just takes a while for that to happen sometimes. A few seconds ago there, but it always happens. That's the important thing. Once it's done, it's done. You don't need to worry about it. Right, let's go back into Filterize and create another bot very quickly to clean up that pipe, because I don't want that pipe in there. Okay, so we're going to go into Filter Manager. We are going in, click on TaskStageBot, and we're going to create another simple filter. And it's for the note title, and we're going to replace title parts, and we're going to search for pipe and replace it with nothing. So continue. And again, we don't need any filter logic. If you're going to use pipes in your titles, then you do need to consider this, but I don't, so not a problem. I tend to use dashes rather than pipes. They're easier to do. Create filter without condition. Okay, let's give it a name. I always forget to give it a name. We're going to call this pipe removal. Save. Done. That is active. It's going to look for notes with pipe in as well. You can sit here and watch it if you want, just to be confident that your automation has been created. When I first set them up, I did. Now I don't bother, I just close it. So now TaskStageBot has 2 instructions: clean up the task and pipe removal. If we go back to our Evernote, we will see it run its pipe cleanup in a second and clean those notes up. Just going to add some more spaces in there to trigger those notes. Again, in real world, you would not need to do this, so don't worry about it. I'm not going to sit here and wait for that to happen. That's just going to happen, and you'll see that next time we come in. So we're going to set up our next stage of TaskStageBot. So let's get back into Filterize. Okay, TaskStageBot select, create simple filter. So when a task moves from being untouched into one of the other stages, I want the emoji at the start of the task to change so we know what's happened. So I'm going to click on note title here, and we're going to again replace title parts. We need to replace the white circle with something else. So I'm going to paste that in there. Hopefully white circle's still in there. Yes, it is. Okay. And we're going to replace it with orange circle. So we're going to go to Emojipedia and look for orange circle. There we go. Let's copy orange circle. Okay, let's go back into Filterize and we're going to paste that in there. So it's going to search in the title for white dot and replace it with orange dot. Pretty easy, you might say. Now we need to add some if logic here, because otherwise, as soon as the first white circle's been produced, it's going to be simply replaced by this one. So the if logic will be what notebook it's in. And I like to use this with the waiting notebook. So when I've moved a task from being untouched to somebody, it's with somebody else and I'm waiting for them to do something for me, then I like to put it into the waiting notebook, which we've discussed and covered in previous videos. And I like that to be visually represented by the orange dot. So the logic we're going to use is general in notebook, and then we just add our notebook. If I'm not mistaken, waiting notebook is number 5. So if I put a 5 in there, yeah, it goes and searches for all your notebooks that you have set up and brings back the one you want. So we want number 5 waiting there, and continue. And almost forgot to give it a name again, and so we'll call this move to waiting and save that. So now we have told TaskStageBot to do 3 things. Let's go back into our Evernote. We can see one of the pipes has been cleaned up there already. The other one will be done shortly. And if we moved one of these items to the waiting notebook, then the white circle would be replaced by the orange dot. When you have 20 tasks or more, all operational, and we build the searches, you will see how this system works, and it does work. And I can't wait to get to that point to show you all. But first of all, we're going to build some more instructions for TaskStageBot, because I have another stage called the scheduled stage, and I want a different emoji at the start of the task title to represent that. So let's go straight back into Filterize, create a simple, make sure we've got TaskStageBot selected. Create a simple filter, note title, replace title parts. I'm going to search in title for the white dot. So we're going to search for the white circle and we're going to replace it by, I use M circle for this. Circled M, and it was the best one I could think of because I've made time for it. I've scheduled it, I've made time for it. You can use anything you like, and you can use a calendar, you can use anything you like, quite frankly, but I like to use the blue circle with the M because I've made time for it, I've scheduled it. And again, we need a condition here because we don't want all the white circles replaced willy-nilly, which is an English phrase in case you don't know what willy-nilly means. So click on general, scroll down, only do it if it's in the notebook, and I believe it's number 4. Yes, only do it if it's in the notebook scheduled. Continue, save. So we've now got 4 instructions for TaskStageBot to do. There's one final one that I like, and this is my favorite one. We're going to add this, create simple filter, note title again, replace title parts, and we're going to replace M made time with, go back to Emojipedia, and this is the tick for when stuff has been done, or check mark as it's called. I think that's a US phrase. So let's copy that there and continue, and general. So we only want this done if it is in notebook done, and I know that one because one of the ones I use the most. That is number 9. Bang. So that's done. Another automation built. You can see how quick this is. Once you understand how to use this, it's really simple. And we're going to do another one, note title, replace title parts, and replace it with tick, because I've still got that in my place. Then we need to go for the orange dot, so back to Emojipedia, orange circle, there we go, copy, back to Filterize, paste, continue, general, in notebook, number 9. You can see how quick it is. Once you have familiarized yourself with using it, and there we go, there's another one done. I do think I mentioned earlier on in the video that I quite often forget to give a name to my automations and my little tasks for my TaskBots, and I think we have a very good example of that there. I've just built the last 3 and forgot to name them, so I'm going to do that now. I'm not going to make you watch this. I'm going to go away and name them and then start the video again. Okay, welcome back, and as you see, I've done my admin and tidied it all up. So we're going to create another simple filter now, and this is for a use case where you may have a brand new fresh task, done it straight away, it's not hit any of your other stages and has gone straight into the done list. So it's the final one to do. So let's paste the green tick in there, and we need to search and title for the white circle. So let's pick up the white circle there, pop that in there. So replace the white circle with a tick. Again, we need logic, general, if the notebook is done. Continue, save. Okay, TaskStageBot is almost complete. So let's go back to our Evernote and see what has happened. And for the eagle-eyed of you, you'll be able to see that the secondary task has had its spare pipe removed, and you will also see that they've been updated 2 hours ago. Something fishy going on here. I had to break and pause recording for family activities, and in the meantime, the notes have got updated, which is what's supposed to happen. Now, I want to move one of these notes onto scheduled, and I want to move one of these notes on to waiting to show you what happens. But before we do that, we need to give our tasks some priorities, because without priorities, it's just a big list of tasks. We're going to use a bot to tag them with the priorities, P1, P2, or P3. And we don't want to do that manually, so we're going to set our bot up to do it. So let's go back to Filterize and create a simple filter, and we are going to tag a note. I'll just click add tag, and I can actually type the tag in now, so I'm going to go for P1 and just click the plus create button there, and that will then sync with Evernote. Bang, done. Look how quick that was. Second, so that was Filterize syncing with Evernote, creating a new tag in Evernote and reporting to us back that that is done. So I'm going to click the continue button, and we're going to add a P1 tag if the notebook, or the note is in the notebook, P1, which is of course number 1 in our notebook system. Continue. And I think I almost forgot to add the title, so we're going to call this P1 tag. Save, and then we're going to close that out. Done, and create the next one. This is how quick you can do it. Tag, add tags, P2, continue, general, in notebook, 2, continue. Almost forgot to name it yet again. P2 tag. Save, and we'll do the last one. You can see how quick this is. Tag, add tag, P3, create. Thank you, Siri. Continue, general, if notebook is number 3, P3, continue. Save, done, close. And as always, I've forgotten to edit some of them there, so I'm going to do that now. Okay, welcome back. I have renamed some of my filters to give them better, more accurate and fitting titles. Well, let's go back into Evernote and see how these all work together. Here's the Evernote. Here are the 2 tasks. This is the way I like to interact with tasks. I've got a task in there in my inbox. It's a white circle, so I know it's not been touched. I need to do something with it. Get the next meeting set up. I'll click into the note. I might decide that is a priority 1 task. So I use Alt-Shift-M on Windows, and I'll put the Mac description here as well. And this brings up the dialog box to move notes into different notebooks. And because we set up our whip structure, we have our nice layout there of how our tasks progress through the system and eventually end up at done. Well, I'm going to move this to, it's a P1 task, and move it to number 1. Simply hit 1, tab, enter, done. That is moved into P1. That will get tagged as P1, and then I'll be able to bring it up with my searches looking for all my P1 tasks. Let's go on to the next task. I'm going to give this a P2, Alt-Shift-M, and move to notebook number 2, tab, move, done. It's that simple, it's that quick. Now, TaskStageBot will go and tag those shortly, and I'll be able to retrieve them in P1 or P2 search tags. And this is the whole point. It's really useful to have items tagged, but you don't want to be doing all the tagging yourself. So why not use a robot to do it for you? It takes all the hard work out of it and enables you to do smart searches. Let's go quickly have a look at those moved into P1 there. You can see that has actually been tagged already. It's been tagged as P1, and we'll have a look at the P2. That has also been tagged as P2 as well. So that's how quick it is. Sometimes it takes a bit longer, but it's usually pretty quick. So these have now been automatically tagged. Right, I'm going to move this one to Alt-Shift move. I'm going to move this one to waiting, and you can just use down arrow and enter for speed of keyboard use as well. And I'm going to look at my P1 tasks here, and I'm going to move this one to scheduled. Pretend we've got a meeting set up. And that will move them into the scheduled and waiting notebooks, where again Filterize will come in using TaskStageBot that we just built and automatically change the emojis from white emojis to symbolize they haven't been touched to the specific emoji that is relevant to the stage of where they're in. So let's have a look at that. I don't know how quickly that might work. Let's have a look at the one in waiting, and we can see that one's done already. So change it from the white to the orange. And if we look at scheduled, that one has not been done yet, but that will be done any second. Oh wow, it's just happened as I was looking at the screen there. So that's interesting. It's happened on the left hand side here, but not on the right. I guess that's just a Evernote glitch. Who knows? Right, so that's how quick it works. Now, what is the point of all this? Well, the point of all this is when you've got 20 or 30 tasks, and I will get round to showing a demo of this when we've built it all. When you've got 20 or 30 tasks that are P1 or P2 or P3 or a combination of such, it's very useful to have them all listed in one search, so you can say, where are all my P1 tasks? And I'm constantly in and out of my P1 task list all day. Where are all my P1 tasks? Where are they at? And you have the quick reference emoji system to tell you where they're at. And that is very useful, but what's even more useful is to have a little automation system do it for you. Imagine the hassle of having to do that yourself. Quite frankly, no one would ever do it. You're busy, you've got stuff to do, no one's going to bother to start changing emojis on every single note as it moves through their task cycle. So this is the way I like to run it. I'm going to wrap that up for this video, and I'm going to pop myself full screen there. So just to recap, we just built 10 automations using TaskStageBot with our first experience of Filterize. That runs stuff all day, every day for me. Very reliable, very consistent, very useful. I think if you put this into your task management system for Evernote, after a while, you're going to love it. But there is loads more to do. I have more stuff to show you, and I can't wait to show you this stuff. I'm trying to get it out as fast as possible. The next thing I'm going to do is Task Template, which adds a nice little look and feel to the tasks and makes them a little bit more usable. You may have seen that in my previous video, but we're going to build it next time. So that's about it for now. I knew there was something I had to say. I think this is my 6th video now on YouTube. I've forgotten in every single video to ask people to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. But it's been a really interesting ride, really interesting journey so far. What I really like is the comments that people leave. It's really useful and rewarding to know that people are actually watching this, that it's useful to them, and it prompts them enough to leave a little comment. So if this is useful for you, or if you have any feedback, any viewpoints, any questions, anything you want to share, do feel free to leave a comment, especially if you've made it all the way to the end of this 20-minute mega bot building video. Would be really, really nice to see. In the meantime, until the next build, I'll see you later. Thanks!